matter what you've been told by the vendors trying to place these machines in your stores, they're illegal. The best way to stay out of trouble is to unplug them, shut them down, perhaps even return them to whoever delivered them to your store.
Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Emily Pritchard in for Paul tonight. Illegal gaming machines have now been removed from a Brookline convenience store, and the manager is facing felony charges. Emma McDarris is joining us from that store right now after the Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway announced this morning that this is part of her office's plan to rid the state of these machines. Emma, what can you tell us tonight?
Emily, here at Briarwood One Stop, 12 illegal slot machines were removed, and owner Hisham Patel has been charged by the Attorney General for promoting gambling. Hanaway says this is a warning to all businesses to unplug these machines before they see charges too.
Has already seized 12 machines with approximately, between the machines and the redemption machine, about $30,000 in cash.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says her office has filed 2 felony counts of promoting gambling against Himanshu Patel, and the civil charges are filed against convenience store Briarwood One Stop. Greene County prosecutor Dan Patterson praised the coordinated effort the Attorney General says will be happening across the state to stop these machines.
You can't just play whack-a-mole. You need a coordinated statewide approach.
Springfield Police Chief Paul Williams says since Springfield City Council banned these machines in 2024, he hasn't seen businesses take action.
We've written almost 450 citations and caused people to comply with the law. That has absolutely not happened. The convenience stores, gas stations, bars, restaurants, the places that have had these machines have continued to basically thumb their nose at our local ordinance.
He hopes this serves as a warning to any other businesses with the machines to unplug and return them.
I'm hoping that impression is going to be made on those folks, those list of businesses. I've already offered to provide that to the Attorney General's office if they want other folks to go target, because those machines are still operating.
Attorney General Hanaway says her office doesn't want to go after the rural mom and pop shops who have been sold these machines and hopes they will return them.
None of us relishes the idea of having to go after small business after small business. We hope they choose to do the right thing on their own.
Torch Electronics has been in intense legal battles with the state of Missouri about the legality of its machines. We reached out to Torch Electronics and to Briarwood One Stop, but neither have returned our calls or emails for comment. In Springfield, Emma McDarris, KY3 News.